we finally got to see Gypceros gameplay in full, and let me say, it was peak.
ピークだね。
Gypceros is one of the oldest monsters in the franchise, appearing in the first Monster Hunter game and many others since, and while monsters like Gypceros or Ratian are fighting to be the Pikachu of the Monster Hunter franchise, Gypceros has already won its place as freaking Zubat. It is not a very exciting monster to see. Okay, everybody hates it, I get it. Mostly because it kept doubling down and teaming up with another monster to kill you at the last minute, and not because it does it particularly or because it wants to do it, but because it is everywhere and it just happens, like a Zubat. Now, they showcased Gypceros in the Taipei game show, and the stream was super awkward. They were speaking in Japanese, and then there was this lady that translated it to Chinese, and then there were two English streamers on top of the stream that didn't speak either Chinese or Japanese, so they were just guessing what they were saying. I reacted to it. I was gonna upload the reaction, and no, man, it's a mess. You cannot tell what's going on at all. But I looked at the gameplay deeply, and we're gonna talk about all the new things we saw. Let me note that it is the official stream that looks this blurry. This is not this video. The official stream was like this. My guess is that Monster Hunter is such a freaking great game that even Twitch has problems running it. But we can see Tokuda playing first, or at the very least he's touching the computer. Okay, that's something, right? So if we pay attention, he is wearing the Chatacabra set and a great sword. Now for the beta, they went out of their way to make all the armor sets more or less the same, except for the resistances, so I assume that's for no spoilers. They don't want to show the actual stats. But the thing is that Gypceros does not do elemental damage. It does poison damage. Poison is not an element in Monster Hunter, right? And it is mostly a physical boss, so the only preparation you can do, as far as we know, is gonna be antidotes. There are gonna be some foods, I bet, that will make you resistant to poison, maybe some decorations too, but we don't know about them yet. So yeah, just antidotes, and it's gonna be really freaking annoying. Poison is one of the worst things to deal with in Monster Hunter, but they are available in the beta. You can get antidotes in the beta, so you got that going on. So Gypceros, what the first change you're gonna notice is that now it has a new tail. It has like a rat tail. It is rubbery, you know, it's a rubber ducky that flies. That's the entire joke about Gypceros, right? I really like the new tail. It makes it look 20 times funnier, and that's the entire joke of Gypceros. That's the entire appeal. It also seems to be a weak spot, as Tokuda only had to whack it 2 times with a greatsword and the tail fell off. Unless he is using some sort of like super jacked character or something. I don't think he was cheating, but we don't know that. Gypceros is all about the elastic, poofy kind of monster team. The tail is really funny. I am a huge fan of the tail. Also because he is made out of rubber, he is immune to electricity. It makes sense. So he's resistant to lightning, and that might become a problem because lightning is usually the first type of elemental damage that you can have access to in a Monster Hunter game. We don't know if that's gonna be the case in Wilds, but it probably will. Gypceros is weak to fire and ice, and it is likely that we are not going to get fire and ice by the time we face him. When Tokuda was on an interview, he said that the reason they put Gypceros in the game is because they found the exact time in the game to put Gypceros. And to me, that kind of means that you are probably not going to be able to have the exact correct tools to kill him. We are going to talk about how to kill him easily in a second. Compared to the older games, another thing that changed is that the horn on his head is now considered an armored part of the body. Gypceros was very weak to cutting damage in all the games because it's made out of freaking rubber. The only body part that had anything close to armor was in the wings, and we actually saw the sword bounce out on the wings and the head now, and that's a telltale sign that Gypceros is probably a little more armored now. I think the reason that they did it this way now is because with the new focus mode, you are able to aim for weak spots more, so they probably are gonna put a lot more armor spots in all the monsters that we get now. If we take a look in here to continue with the Subat team, okay, this is Subat. They are in a cave with a bunch of other Gypceros in it. They are everywhere. But Tokuda went out of his way to fight in the plenty, the good weather, and that's important. They actually showed in the display how to skip weather. That's gonna be an entire video, but you can skip bad weather now. Confirmed, you can manipulate weather in your instance. That was not possible in the beta, as far as I know. Now you can. And the reason I bring this up, why would he fight in the plenty? Because in the plenty, monsters, bosses are less likely to attack you. So he just ran past the other Gypceros and they didn't join in. They didn't attack him. So if you're gonna fight a Gypceros and you're kinda weak, you probably wanna do it in the plenty, because otherwise another Gypceros is gonna join in from the back with a foldable chair and he's gonna get you in the back. That's just the way Gypceros works. That's just the way it works. Gypceros also spits poison like in the older games, but now he does it a lot more. It would seem he spams the poison a hell of a lot. It does very little itty bitty damage when it actually connects with you, when it actually hits you. The problem, of course, is it is poison, so you're poisoned. That's really bad. There is gonna be a new effect on the ground, and it's like slippery. If you fought Barrot in Monster Hunter Worlds, it is the same kind of effect. So that's gonna be super annoying, but you can avoid it. It is not too hard to avoid, and of course that is gonna give you the normal everyday poison status, and that's really annoying. So you're gonna have to get antidotes or it will keep reducing your health and you're gonna die. Even if you're in best gear, you're gonna freaking die. That's what makes Gypceros so annoying to farm. If you gotta grind them, it doesn't matter how well geared, how well prepared you are, Gypceros is always a problem. Because if you mess up, there's still a good chance you're gonna die just because of the freaking poison. Another thing, adding to the fact that people hate Gypceros, is that the flashbang attack is back, okay? He's gonna do like a little flashbang first, like a little light, and you got like about a half a second, three quarters of a second to move out, and if you don't, you're gonna get baboon and you're blind. You're blind forever. No, I'm kidding, but you're blinded, and that's like a stone. There are items in the game, in every Monster Hunter, that make you immune to blind or make you resist blindness, so you are gonna find those in the game. Goggles. One thing the English streamer said, even though I am not sure of this because they did not show it in the footage, is that it will be directional, as in if you're in range of the flashbang but you're not looking at him, you are not gonna get blinded. We don't know yet, but they said it, so it's probably true. They also showed how broken bombs and environment traps are by just dropping a single boulder on him and a bomb and making him limp instantly. And here's the thing, right? If you wanna kill Gypceros in easy mode, you need bombs, because part of your bombs, especially the barrel bomb, they do part of the damage as fire damage, and Gypceros is once again weak to fire. The other very iconic Gypceros attack that is back again is that he will pretend to die. He's gonna feign death. He's gonna sit on the ground, and then when you get close to it, he's gonna wake up and kill you. He's preparing for a surprise attack. Very, very smart. It's a very smart boss, okay? They didn't show in the footage what you're supposed to do, but you just lay a bunch of barrel bombs and traps, and you just wake him up with a good boom boom, and that's it. That's how you kill Gypceros in easy mode. They only showcase the great sword and the hammer, and I think that's intentional because those are the two weapons that Capcom seems to be happy about. All the other weapons, the insect glaive, the lance is gonna get a lot of changes, guys. The sword and shield, they are all gonna get changes. So yeah, the great sword and the hammer though, they are probably gonna be this way at launch. That is a shame, because I think insect glaive in particular is gonna be one of the best weapons to kill Gypceros. All the aerial attacks make you less likely to get hit by the poison because it goes straight down. It is also a ground effect, so you're in the air, the floor is lava, and given the hitbox data that traditionally is in the games, the back of Gypceros, the top of Gypceros should still be vulnerable to cutting attacks. And that's also the other thing I wanted to bring up. They showed the hammer, and the hammer was doing no freaking damage. It was hitting for like a 10. This goes once again with the team of Gypceros, that Gypceros is made out of freaking rubber, so it bounces off, right? You do less damage on blunt attacks. So if you're gonna fight Gypceros, you probably wanna get a cutting weapon of some type. The hammer was doing really good damage in the beta, mind you. As far as I know, I didn't see people complain about the hammer yet. I'm sure there is gonna be some people complaining. They always complain on Reddit. But it was still doing terrible damage to Gypceros. So yeah, when you do a heavy swing and you hit for 11, you know something is very, very wrong. That is probably gonna get a touch-up in full release. They are probably gonna try to rebalance that a little bit. Overall, I would say that the identity of Gypceros is maintained pretty well. It is pretty much the good old Gypceros of all the time, and most likely Gypceros is gonna be one of the starter mobs in the plains area, the desert area of the map, which is not gonna be the first area of the game apparently now. They said that the forest is gonna be the first area. Weird. But Gypceros is always an early game monster, and that's perfectly fine. Just like a Zubat. And I totally understand why they wanted Gypceros back, even though Reddit is really freaking mad. Every game needs to have that one enemy that everybody hates, the Cliff Racers in Morrowind, or the Zubats in Pokemon, or that dog in Dog Hunt that keeps laughing at you and you cannot shoot it down no matter how hard you try. We are supposed to bond over this feeling. We're supposed to get together over our common enemy. They also spent the rest of the showcase just zooming into a bunch of chickens. Apparently chickens turned into horses in the Monster Hunter cinematic universe now. Yeah, you can tell they didn't want to show too much of the game yet. You know, it's coming out. They are not going to show you. But the beta will come out in February 6th. And Gypceros is gonna be fully available. I will probably make a full guide on how to kill him once I get to kill him 100,000 times in the hope that I can drive the Gypceros population to extinction. It is not gonna happen, there is way too many of them, but I can always dream. Now, do you actually think that Reddit is right in being mad about Gypceros coming back? Or are they just like projecting their frustration on Gypceros because they just want to play freaking lands and we are not going to get any changes for the beta, so the weapon is useless? I think I know where the rage is coming from, guys. We are also running an invitational tournament with the top speedrunners and the top streamers of the game. The beta in February 9th, guys, the very last day of the beta, so we are going to stream it on this very channel. You can check out the Discord for more information on that. And of course, subscribe, join the Discord, and thank you for watching.